Shocker, the lie every man believes until it's too late. Most men walk into relationships blindfolded by hope. They think, if I love her enough, she'll never leave. If I provide, protect, and stay loyal, she'll never cheat. But here's the truth. A woman doesn't cheat because you're not good enough. She cheats because something died, quietly, long before you noticed. Let me ask you this. Have you ever loved a woman so deeply, gave her your time, your loyalty, your whole soul? And then one day she became distant, colder, and eventually a stranger in your own bed? You didn't see it coming, but it was there. The signs were always there. You just chose not to look. See, the painful reality is, a woman rarely cheats spontaneously. It's not impulsive. It's built up in silence, in resentment, in the void between I love you and I don't feel it anymore. And while you're busy working, fixing, providing, she's quietly withdrawing, emotionally detaching, and preparing her exit. Not always physically at first, but emotionally. She's already gone. This is not about blaming women. This is about understanding how human nature works, especially when filtered through female psychology. Stoicism teaches us it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that defines you. So if you want to be a man who sees clearly, not through jealousy, not through fear, but through truth, then you must learn to recognize the early signs. Because a woman who cheats always leaves traces. She may smile, she may say, I love you, but her energy, it doesn't lie. In this video, we'll break down the 3 most common but hidden signs that a woman is emotionally and physically checking out. And how a stoic man responds without losing his dignity, his peace, or his power. Stay sharp. Stay grounded. Let's begin. What a first hidden sign. Her presence feels distant even when she's there. She's with you, but she's not really with you. You talk, but she doesn't engage. You touch, but she barely responds. You share your plans, and all she gives is a vague, This is not just tiredness. It's not stress. It's our emotional detachment, Kern. The first quiet sign. Stoicism reminds us to observe without judgment. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. So observe. She's physically present, but emotionally checked out. She's scrolling her phone more than looking at your eyes. She cancels plans or keeps making excuses. This is her way of creating space. Without confrontation, a woman doesn't always leave suddenly. She fades. And most men, they chase harder. They beg. They ask, is something wrong? Over and over. Don't. A Stoic man doesn't cling to comfort. He watches, he prepares, and he remembers. When energy fades, it rarely returns on its own. One. Second hidden sign, sudden privacy and guarded behavior. She used to share everything. Now, her phone is always face down. She suddenly has a password. She takes calls in another room. She says, I just need some space. But let's be honest. It's not about space. It's about secrecy. In Stoic thought, we are taught not to control others, but to control our perception. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. So don't react with anger. Don't accuse. Just observe the shift. She once invited you into her world. Now she guards it like a fortress. This shift isn't just new boundaries. It's a wall with something or someone behind it. You feel it. Her vibe changes. Her explanations feel rehearsed. This isn't about paranoia. It's about pattern recognition. A woman hiding her phone, changing habits, pulling back emotionally. These aren't coincidences. They're quiet confessions. And a Stoic man? He doesn't beg for answers. He watches. And he walks away with peace, not pain. 101. Why most men miss these signs until it's too late. Most men don't see the signs, not because they're blind, but because they're in denial. They confuse her distance with stress. They excuse her secrecy as just needing privacy. They tell themselves, she'd never do that. She loves me. But here's the truth. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't disappear silently. Men miss the signs because they want to believe the story they've built. They're invested in the illusion. They fear loss more than truth. Stoicism teaches you suffer more in imagination than in reality. It's in Seneca. So what do men do? They overcompensate. They buy gifts. They try to fix what they don't understand. But you can't fix what someone won't admit. You can't repair a bridge someone already burned in their heart. What you can do is detach, observe, accept reality, no matter how uncomfortable, because when you miss the early signs, you're not just blindsided, you're broken. And that's not strength, that's self-deception. Shaker Hor, how a Stoic man responds to betrayal. He doesn't scream. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg for explanations. A Stoic man understands the only thing he controls is himself. She lied. That's on her. She hid things. That's her character. He doesn't make it about his worth. He doesn't spiral into, what did I do wrong? Instead, he accepts the truth with calm clarity. It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things, that Epictetus. He doesn't get emotional. He gets rational. He sees the betrayal as a reflection of her, not a failure of him. He doesn't seek revenge. He doesn't stalk her socials. He doesn't need closure. Why? Because the moment someone chooses betrayal, they've already revealed who they are. No further explanation is needed. A Stoic man walks away with dignity, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares more about his peace than her apology. Arnaudu, why the silent power of walking away? When a man walks away in silence, not out of weakness, but from your deep self-respect, he becomes more powerful than ever. No yelling, no dramatic exits, no long messages explaining what she already knows. Just one thing: presence withdrawn. And that silence, it speaks louder than any words ever could. He who is brave is free. Seneca. Walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself over someone who didn't. It's not a loss, it's liberation. And the moment you walk, you reclaim your time, your energy, your identity. She may notice your absence, but a Stoic man doesn't leave so she misses him. He leaves because he refuses to stay where he's disrespected. That's not ego, that's wisdom. Horacio de Frontos, the Stoic conclusion: rebuild with strength, not bitterness. A Stoic man doesn't stay broken. He doesn't build walls. He builds wisdom. He doesn't trust less. He trusts I'm smarter. He reflects not to dwell in pain, but to grow in clarity. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Seneca. He doesn't become cold. He becomes centered. He doesn't need to prove anything to her or to the world. The only thing he proves is to himself that he can rise without rage, that he can rebuild without revenge. No bitterness, just better boundaries. No hatred, just higher standards. This is Stoicism, not about being emotionless, but about mastering your emotions and never letting betrayal steal your peace. He walks forward, not to escape the past, but because the future he's creating deserves the strongest version of him. To memory, call to action, reclaim your power, live stoic. If you've ever been lied to, betrayed, or left wondering what went wrong, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Your worth is not defined by her choices. You don't need closure. You don't need revenge. You need clarity. And that clarity starts with you. Be the man who doesn't chase. Be the man who doesn't beg. Be the man who walks with discipline. Not drama, with principles, not pain. Start today. Cut off the noise. Cut out the chaos. Start journaling. Start training your mind as hard as you train your body. Study the Stoics. And most of all, return to yourself. Now, if this message struck something deep in you, share it with a brother who needs to hear it. Like this video to show the world we're building better men. Subscribe to join a tribe of thinkers, doers, and modern Stoics. Because in a world full of noise, we choose clarity. In a world full of weak reactions, we choose inner strength. And in a world full of men trying to impress others, we become men who impress ourselves. Stay solid, stay silent, stay stoic.